I found all of the on-screen deaths in Harry Potter, and in this video, I will be ranking them all from not sad to soul-crushingly sad. Some of my opinions later on in the ranking may be a little controversial, so stick around for that. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Starting it off in last place at number 23, we have, of course, he who must not be named, Voldemort. When Voldemort dies, there's literally no remorse for the guy whatsoever. It's actually the exact opposite. The whole story of Harry Potter was building up to when he would take down the man who killed his parents, so we the audience are actually very glad when Voldemort passes away. One complaint I have about this death is the way in which it occurs. Instead of simply flopping to the ground like a normal human being, like it was in the books, Voldemort gets Thanos snapped into pieces and completely disappears into the atmosphere. Like, did they do this just for the cinematic shot? Also, no one is there to witness Voldemort's death except Harry and whoever this guy is. Voldemort is evil incarnate, and his death was not sad at all. At number 22, we have Nagini. The death of Nagini is a very big moment. Nagini is about to kill Ron and Hermione, but Neville Longbottom clutches up and slices Nagini into pieces. This death directly leads to the death of Voldemort, because after this moment, he has no Horcruxes left. No one feels sad about this snake's death. Coming in at number 21, we have Voldemort's supposed lover, Bellatrix Lestrange. In the Battle of Hogwarts, Bellatrix is killed by none other than Molly Weasley herself, in destructive fashion. I think theaters all over the world erupted in cheers at the death of Bellatrix Lestrange, and I think that was for good reason. At number 20, we have the Basilisk in the Chamber of Secrets. After a full year of tormenting the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, the Basilisk gets slayed by the famous Harry Potter in epic fashion. Imagine being 12 and you fight against an extremely large snake and win. Harry Potter's the GOAT. Anyway, I don't know what the Basilisk was doing in Salazar's mouth for all those years, but no one really felt bad when Harry took him out. At number 19, we have Gregory Goyle. Now this guy's death is a little sad just because of how downright pathetic it is. First, he tries to Avada Kedavra Hermione. Then, he lights the entirety of the Room of Requirement on fire with his incompetent magic skills. And lastly, his climbing skills are lacking, and that happens to be his downfall. Draco gives him a look that says, "Oh darn," and then just continues climbing. Draco's reaction is everyone's reaction here. At the 18 spot, we got Professor Quirrell. Honestly, Professor Quirrell fooled everyone throughout the entire school year with his acting abilities. You gotta give the guy props. But then he did try to choke an 11-year-old boy, so there's that. His death was pretty intense for the first movie. At number 17, we have Aragog. This death wasn't that sad because Aragog is a giant spider. However, Aragog was Hagrid's friend, and Hagrid did really care for Aragog. Sure, in the second film, he orders his family to eat Harry and Ron, but that's besides the point. Professor Slughorn also gives a great farewell to Aragog, which leaves the audience feeling some empathy for the old spider. Coming in at 16, we have... Coming in at number 15, we have Griphook. Now, Griphook is a tough one. Yes, he did betray the trio in Gringotts when he didn't help them escape, and he did take the Sword of Gryffindor, but anyone killed by Voldemort isn't a good thing. Next, at number 14, we have Bogrod. Now, Bogrod was just out here doing his job, and he happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Under the Imperius Curse, Bogrod gets the trio and Griphook into Bellatrix Lestrange's vault, and then finds himself being burned alive by a dragon. After this, Ron gives a remark saying,
"That's unfortunate."
Yeah, it is, Ron. You guys pretty much killed Bogrod. Number 13, Barty Crouch. This character was introduced to us in the Goblet of Fire and perished in the Goblet of Fire. Not actually in the Goblet of Fire, but you know what I mean. We aren't that attached to him, and we don't see his death happen on screen. Harry just finds him in the forest. It is sad that his own son murdered him, but yeah. Number 12, Frank Bryce. The story of Frank Bryce is truly tragic. Once again, it was just a guy trying to do his job, and that job was keeping people out of the Riddle House, and he just happens to stumble upon Voldemort and his snake. Can't a guy just enjoy his cup of tea? At number 11, we have Professor Burbage. Now, I actually had to look up the name of this character because I didn't remember, but this death was a sad one. Leading up to her death, Voldemort spends time making fun of her for her views about the relationship between muggles and wizards. In her last moments, she tries to get Snape to acknowledge her and give her mercy. Snape doesn't budge, leading to Voldemort casting the killing curse on her. These deaths are starting to get sad, guys. At number 10, we have Lavender Brown. The way in which Lavender goes out is just terrible. Fenrir Greyback kills Lavender with his werewolf techniques, but Hermione steps in and sends Greyback flying. Unfortunately, it was too late and Lavender sadly perished. At number 9, we have the best snowy owl ever, Hedwig. The death of Hedwig is very sad because it represents so much. Harry got Hedwig all the way back in his first year, and he's been with Harry for all his years at Hogwarts. In the Deathly Hallows, Harry is forced to grow up very fast and become an adult due to all of the responsibility on his shoulders. The death of Hedwig represents the ending of Harry's childhood. Very, very sad death. At number 8, we have Cedric Diggory. Now this death is just brutal for Hufflepuffs. Our one shot at glory, and Peter Pettigrew just has to kill the stag! No! For real though, this death marks a turning point in the series. This death is especially sad when Harry returns to Hogwarts with Cedric's body, and Amos Diggory, Cedric's father, sees his son. The reaction to this death makes it take this spot on the list, and Cedric, we miss you very much. At number 7, we have the death of Remus Lupin and Nymphadora Tonks. We don't see this death on screen, but its impact is felt, especially when you remember that they are leaving behind a son. Also, the way that their hands are reaching out for each other really just adds to the sadness meter. Coming in at number 6, we have the death of Fred Weasley. This one didn't have to happen. I mean, come on, J.K. Rowling. Unfortunately, this death did happen, and it's a very depressing one. Seeing all the Weasleys around Fred in the Great Hall just makes your eyes water. I mean, we have seen how wholesome the Weasley family is for 7 years, so this death is felt. At least Fred died fighting for a great cause. At number 5, we have the death of James and Lily Potter. This death is especially sad because we see Harry grappling with it throughout the entire series, and it never really stops affecting him. Because Lily Potter sacrificed herself for Harry, she created a magical protection over Harry. This death catapulted the entire plot of the series, and for that reason, it takes the number 5 spot. At number 4, we have the death of Severus Snape. The way Snape goes out is extremely brutal. I mean, that is just an awful way to die, being the last moments of Snape's life are spent looking into the eyes of the one woman he loved. And then the whole Prince's Tale after his death gives us all the answers as to why he pretty much bullied Harry throughout the course of Harry's schooling. Snape is a very deep and interesting character, and for that, he takes the number 4 spot. At number 3, we have Sirius Black. Sirius Black dies in a pretty dramatic way by falling through the veil. Harry's reaction to this death is what makes it take this spot for me. They had to mute Daniel Radcliffe's screams because they were just too much. Harry is so happy he finally has family, and then he loses yet another person close to him. And coming in at number 2, we have Albus Dumbledore. Dumbledore is undoubtedly the coolest character in the entire series, and his death was extremely saddening. I mean, he is pretty much the heart and soul of Hogwarts, and his death means so much to everyone. When reading the book, this death was so crazy and everyone was talking about it. And coming in at the saddest death in the Harry Potter series, we have the death of Dobby the House Elf. I don't know about you guys, but every time I watch this scene, it makes me tear up. I think it's something about the way Harry still thinks he can fix it, but slowly realizing they can't. Literally, Dobby loves Harry Potter so much that his last words are,
Harry Potter.
Sure, the movies took out so much of Dobby's parts that were in the books, but for me, this is the saddest death.